Hey, welcome Broken World Entertainment, and this is our review for Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special. That's right, Christmas Special. This is not a movie, nor is it a series. It's a one-off. I think it comes in at about 43 minutes long. It's better than I expected it to be. But it's definitely kind of the last kind of remnants of Phase 3, to be honest with you. So I'll just kind of give a quick overview and thoughts, and then I'll go into spoilers. If there is such things for something like this. So what's it about? It's about the Guardians, more so Mantis and Drax, wanting to save Christmas for Peter, Star-Lord. That Christmas was ruined for him when he was a kid, and they want to reignite his love for it. And they decide they want to get him the bestest gift ever, and it's something that he constantly talks about, and they want to get him Kevin Bacon. Yes, the actual Kevin Bacon. So they travel to Earth, and all kinds of mischief happen. Would I recommend it? If you're a huge fan of Guardians, yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you're a Christmas movie type lover, I would recommend. One thing to keep in mind, if you're not a fan of songs being sung from start to finish, you may want to second guess it. There's, if I remember correctly, there's at least two. I don't think there was three, but there's definitely two songs sang from start to finish. And one of them just goes on and on and on. You're just like, ooh. Which, that song is played as well as a bit of a joke. But it's just like the joke that will not end. I think, didn't Gunn have a joke like that in the Suicide Squad where, no, I think it's Peacemaker, whatever the hell John Cena's character is called. The series, a lot of people complained that a lot of the jokes in that just like it should have been this, and it just kept going and going and going. But it's a dumb, quick throwaway fun movie. It might have some things to move forward with Volume 3. I'll get into that in spoilers. But overall, as I said, it's better than I expected. There are two moments very early on that are very much Disney and Feige. You know, everything else you could see was gone. These two must have been things that Feige and Disney themselves were kind of, hey, you make sure you put this in. And it's kind of very obvious. But other than that, it's fun. You know, there's no Gamora in it. The rest of them are, you know, you do have Drax, obviously. Nebula's in there. Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot. Groot looks weird, by the way. Does actually look weird. It's it clearly seems to be a dude in a suit this time, but it just looks strange. It really does. Carglin is in there. All the main Guardians are in there, but it's more so focused on Mantis and Drax. Yondu is in there, but he's voice only, like as in Michael Rooker, because it's a cartoon in a bit of a storytelling. Owen Cosmos, the dog, is in it. So, yeah. And of course, Kevin Bacon. So, with that, I'll have to get into spoilers. It is funny. There are some very funny moments with Drax and Mantis. You know, they do really play off each other quite well, but there are some quite funny jokes with them. Yeah, so here we go. Into spoilers. So I can dive a bit more into it. You're being warned. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Full spoilers. So it opens with a cartoon of Cardigan telling the story of how Yondu ruined Christmas for Krill when he was a kid. So Yondu walked in to one of the rooms on the ship, and Carlin and young Krill have made a makeshift Christmas tree and are putting gifts under it. And Yondu's not happy about this, and he's like, no, screw this. Destroys the Christmas tree, and he's like, I hate Christmas. And then we go to live action, and it's Carlin telling Mantis, Nebula and Drax about that. Drax starts laughing and says, I like the part when Yondu destroyed the tree. So there and then, Mantis decides, hey, Drax, we should do something special for Krill. We should save Christmas for him. And they decide we'll go get Kevin Bacon. But she tells Drax, hey, I just don't know how I feel about it because of my secret. The joke here is about these nuts that she ate, that Drax seems to be the only one upset about. But it turns out she may in fact be Krill's sister. And it turns out she is. Ego was her father as well. So they travel to Earth. They're in Los Angeles, they're looking for Kevin Bacon. They find Kevin Bacon. They kidnap Kevin Bacon. She uses her powers to tell him he wants to come with them. They bring him back to the planet. What's the planet called? It's Nowhere? Is it Nowhere or the Unknown? Whichever one of them two. They wheel him out. They open the box. It's Kevin Bacon. Krill is beyond shocked and not exactly happy because he's like, you've literally just dabbled in human trafficking. He tells Mantis to undo her powers, let him be him. He freaks out. They're going to bring him home. They explain, like, you know, Christmas was ruined for him and he loves you and blah, blah, blah. And Bacon wants to stay there for a bit with them. Has a bit of a do with them, and then Mantis explains. So the two bits I was talking about that are a bit very Disney and Feige moments are when they're in Los Angeles, they're walking and they're down by the Chinese theatre. And as a lot of people, especially everyone in the States would know, most people know this, but for you who don't, you get people dressed as movie characters outside this place and you get your photo taken with them. Obviously you have to pay them, but so they're walking out and Mantis sees a dude dressed as Captain America, and she goes, hey, it's Stevie. That's right, people, Stevie. Why? Because Steve Rogers is Captain America, not fucking Sam Wilson. But she runs and jumps onto this dude. They'll hug him and he freaks and legs it. But they're like, why did he act like that? Which they should know. But there's a couple of things in here that we'll get to. But they turn, and who do they see? There's two people standing there. One is a girl dressed as Black Widow. First Avengers movie, Black Widow. The other, and here's the foggy bit, you've probably already guessed it, is dressed as Captain Marvel. Is it that big deal? No. Except she pops up in this scene at least another 2 to 3 times. The Black Widow one doesn't. You see her once, but the Captain Marvel one keeps popping up in this scene. This scene then transitions to the very next scene, which is the very... Oh, is this an order from Disney or something? So Drax and Mantis come across a bar or a nightclub or something, and they're like, hey, do you think Kevin Bacon's in here? And they go in. The very first thing you see in this bar is an ultra feminine dude dancing. Straight away, you know he's gay. And there's like another 4 dudes dancing with him. Immediately you're going, is this a gay bar? I'm still not sure. But they go up to the bar, they start taking shots. The 2 of them get pissed as a fart. The image for this thumbnail, which is also the poster for the movie, is actually the scene in the movie. It's the 2 of them drunk out of their minds sitting outside the bar. But they're up there, they're taking shots. Nebula goes out and starts dancing, and immediately a guy walks up and hits on Drax. Comes up and hey, do you want to dance? And he's properly, hey, so like, do you want to dance? And Drax is like, no, dancing is for morons or something. And then he's like, well, how about like buy you a drink? And he's like, yes, more shots. So it's just very kind of, oh man, there's the Disney part. And then they're outside and they get handed a star map. And they go to Kevin Bacon's house. They ring the bell. Bacon's sitting in there watching TV. Answers tell them they have the wrong. They jump over. And Bacon's garden is full of like decorations, inflatable snowmen, all that shit. And Drax sees this small inflatable elf. And it instantly falls in love with this thing and grabs it and steals it. And this is one of the funny jokes. I was like, and he keeps calling it the strange little guy. Or strange little man. And Manta's like, you can't just take things. And all of a sudden she gets obsessed with this big plastic candy cane. So she takes that. They do kidnap. Essentially kidnap Kevin Bacon. He does run. They chase him. He phoned the cops. The cops arrive. Here's one thing that's a bit weird. And I don't know how it's going to play into Guardians 3. The cops shoot Drax. Because they're obviously telling them to freeze and don't move. And he keeps walking towards them. So they shoot him. Turns out Drax is bulletproof. The bullets are just bouncing off. And he's laughing and telling them to stop because it tickles. Mantis uses her powers to knock them all out. Another cop car pulls up and Drax grabs it and just flips it. And Mantis is like, hey, you can't just go around killing people. But they're not dead, they're fine. And, you know, as a token of sorry, basically, she gives them her candy cane, the big plastic candy cane, which Drax thinks is a strange, funny looking man as well. By the way, he forgot his when they were trying to kidnap Kevin Bacon in the house. They run out and he forgot his and wants to go back inside. And she's like, hey, what's more important? Saving Christmas for Krill or the strange, funny man? And of course, Drax is like, the strange, funny man. What I was saying about, I don't know how they're going to play it with Guardians 3 with him being shot, is the rumour is, I'm sure you've all heard it, that Drax is going to die in Volume 3. If he's just like stabbed or something, it's gonna make no sense when in this he's just being shot and like all it does is tickle him. So I don't know how they're gonna handle that, but whatever. So they do get Kevin Bacon, they bring him back. Krill is pretty much mortified that they've kidnapped an actual human being. Groot tries to say he had no part of it, and Krill's like, you literally just wheeled them out. I was just watching you. So Bacon wants to go home and back in the ship. And they do something in this scene that they did in She-Hulk. Ugh. But at least they explain it in this. So he's sitting there and he's like, Carlin starts explaining to Kevin Bacon he's going to bring him home. And starts explaining to him, look, Yondu destroyed Christmas for him and blah, blah, blah. And Kevin Bacon's phone rings. It's his wife phoning him. And of course he changes his mind. He's, hey, do you mind if I'm a bit late? I just have to help out a friend. And he stays for a bit to hang out with them. The phone ringing. I was like, oh no. How is it ringing? But Kevin Bacon asks that. He turns around, how the hell am I getting a signal all the way out here? And Carlin explains, we've a bunch of satellites set up around this planet that gets a signal from, I think he says 400 million kilometers away or something like that. So at least they explain it. The She-Hulk one doesn't make any sense, where Bruce Banner gets the phone call when he's on the ship. I can't remember what ship it is. That they're out in the middle of nowhere, different place, and he's on a ship out in space. So that made no sense. That was stupid. But thank Christ they addressed it in this. Yeah, and it pretty much, he asked them why they did this for him, and Mantis says, because Carlin told us about Yondu. And Krill says, you've never heard the rest of that story. The rest of the story, and we go back to a bit cartoon form. Yondu was walking back through the ship and saw the trash can with the Christmas tree and the presents in it. And he sees the present Krill left for him. And he opens it, and it's the weird little Yoda looking bobblehead type thing. And it changes Yondu's appreciation for Krill and everything. And this is where Peter Star-Lord gets the Star-Lord guns. That he came out the next morning and there was a present for him from Yondu. And he opened the present and it was the guns. So Yondu did celebrate Christmas with him. And then Mantis, of course, tells him that she's his sister. She thinks he's going to be upset about that, and he's not. He says that's the best Christmas present. And they hug it out. And pretty much it's over. There is a post-credit scene. Probably should have said that in the non-spoiler section, but whatever. There is a post-credit scene. It doesn't set up anything or anything. It's if you've ever seen Scrooged with Bill Murray, his secretary, her kid who doesn't speak. It's not that he can't speak, it's he won't speak after his father died? I think it was the father, not a brother, the father. When they dress him up as the Christmas tree, it's Rocket and Cosmo. They dress Groot up as the Christmas tree. And Groot puts his hands down and all of it. The decorations fall off and they're like, you've ruined it. You've ruined Christmas. And Rocket looks at the camera and goes, we're going to have to do another one. As in, another special. And that's it. That's the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special. So as I said, it's better than I was expecting. Feels a lot more like Phase 3 than Phase 4. So, with that, have you watched it? Are you going to watch it? Have you any interest in it? Let us know in the comments. And with that, I'll leave it here for this one. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.